Hello, and welcome to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Stephen Johnson, and I'll tell you what, Steve, we had a very, very good weekend of fights, and of course we want to talk about on our first segment, just like we always talk about different things and stuff, but we want to go right into the one that struck a lot of interest, and that's with Mikey Garcia and Robert Easter. So let's get right into it. And give me your take. Give me your take on the fight. Did Mikey pull? Because I got a lot to say about this fight. I'm not so much even about the fight, just about Mikey and his demeanor and you know, he's really good for boxing because he's trying to accomplish so much, and he's doing more. You know, usually you get fighters that want to be badasses. Okay, I'm the best in the world. See, he's doing things like saying, I want to prove to myself that I can accomplish this, that I can do this, okay? And the truth is, after this fight, you know, he's talking about Errol Spence, and the bottom line is that's a hard nut to crack, baby. I'm telling you what, especially since Mikey started at 126. Yeah. Okay, now he's talking about jumping up to 147. But we'll talk about that after we talk about the fight a little bit, okay? So, your take on the fight. I'll come with the fight, okay?
I was wondering when you were probably going to get to me. I said you wanted my take, but no, you're exactly right. Let me first start by saying that the fight was held at the Staples Center in Los Angeles, and you know, Al Heyman was the lead promoter. You know, this was combined promotions, but for those people who say that Al Heyman and Premier Boxing champions are dead, this shows you that they're not. Okay, they're still players in the game. And, like you said, Mikey Garcia, I think that he did what he was supposed to do against Robert Easter. We all know that Robert Easter is long, he's tall, you know, he has no problem, which is amazing. He has no problem making 135 at 5'11".
Yeah.
You know, and he's long. He causes problems for guys. But if you remember in the pre-fight interview, when Jim Gray asked Mikey if he had any problems, saw any problems, he said, "No, I just got to I've got to solve that problem of his height and the reach. And once I get that, then it'll and that's exactly what happened. Yeah. It took him 2 or 3 rounds to be able to get closer to him, and once he got closer to him. Robert Easter was actually on the run, to be honest. He was, Mikey was just, it was going at him. And if you want to give any kind of a moral victory to Robert Easter, you can say that ended up being a unanimous decision. It was clear, almost a shutout. If you really wanted to score it correctly. But the bottom line is that now that Mikey Garcia is the WBC and the IBF World Lightweight Champion. And like you said afterwards, and he said it before, in the last few weeks he's been saying that he wanted an Errol Spence. And I like the way he clarified what his reasoning for Errol Spence was. He said Errol Spence is the best at 147.
No doubt.
He didn't say Terrence Crawford.
No doubt.
He didn't say Garcia, Danny Garcia. He didn't say Sean Porter. He didn't say Keith Thurman. He said Errol Spence is the best at 147. I was glad to hear that because, I've been a proponent that I think he's the best at 147 myself.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that you got to see about where I think that he would have problems with Errol Spence, and I'm getting ahead, but the problem that he has with Errol Spence is we know Errol Spence has shown that he's not hard to hit, but he also hits hard. And Mikey, some of the punches that I saw Robert Easter hitting with, where it actually rocked his head back, and that Easter never did want to engage in close with him. Mikey likes to fight in close. Errol Spence likes to fight in close.
Yeah.
There'll be problems for him though.
Well, that's a fight to come. Yeah, that's a fight to come. I'll tell you what. I think Easter, when they started this fight, round 1 was clearly Easter. I mean, he came out, established his jab, and actually, he has a good jab. He has a good jab. He established his jab, and everything kind of went according to their plan. Him and his father, who trains him, came in with that plan for Easter to fight at his distance, which is great. With Robert Easter, he's been winning and he's become champion, and he's been the long-standing champion simply because of that height, because of that jab that can keep people away and fight at his distance. Okay, what I saw with Easter is he doesn't know what to do after that. Okay, he doesn't know, so he becomes predictable. And Mikey, I was really impressed, not so much with his fighting and his hitting, because he really doesn't turn on his punches the way he should. But
he cut that ring off.
But he's smart.
Yeah.
He's very smart in the ring, and he sees everything coming. And Easter was predictable. It only took one round for Mikey to figure out that's all this guy is going to do, is going to pop the jab out. Okay, he's not going to come back with a combination, step back and go back to the jab. You know, it's true. You can win a fight with the jab, and we know that because we old folks. Okay, we know that from Muhammad Ali and Larry Holmes, and there was a few other ones that made jab, and they win a fight with the jab. But they knew how to put something behind the jab, the combinations, and they were defensively skilled enough to be elusive that when someone did come in, they didn't panic. Okay, Robert Easter, when Mikey ended up getting in, he didn't know what to do. He panicked and he was getting hit. Okay, that was the mistake, and then he'd come back. So the jab worked very well for him. Good plan, but he lacks. Exactly. That was his game. That was his entire game, and you need a little bit more when you get into championship quality. As a matter of fact, the fight from one to 6 was actually pretty good. I mean, the rounds were close. They were kind of a chess match. It was getting good. I think Robert Easter in that 7th round blew his wad. He got aggressive, crowded himself, gave up his distance, went aggressive, started fighting. That 7th round was it, because from the 8th round up, he just was like a holding punching bag. It was no contest. It was just completely like you said, lopsided. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th were just like he didn't have any business.
Well, you know what? I hate the fighters that once you see things aren't going their way, where they'll throw us a couple of punches and hold. I hate that. And when Easter started doing that, I was definitely no longer in his corner. But let me tell you the one thing, and I'm not going to dwell on it too long. The one thing I could not get that far behind Robert Easter is because he had Tank Davis, Gervonta Davis, and Adrian Broner there, you know, backing him up, and he said he was going to avenge Broner's loss to Mikey Garcia. I don't like that. I'm not going to be a fan of Tank Davis and not going to be a fan of Adrian Broner. To me, they're what's bad for boxing. I know most of you boxing fans say, hey, they put fannies in the seats and all that nonsense, but they're bad for boxing. They actually pan to them both, you know, at one point, and there's Adrian Broner flipping the bird to you know, on TV. I don't like all that, and I'm sorry, but I don't like it.
I agree with you. Fighters like that is what makes boxing thuggish. Okay, and boxing, if you know it, if you got the real true fans, boxing is not thuggish. It's an art.
Yes.
It's an art. You go back to Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali. It's an art, and it's a beauty. I mean, it's something you can see when you get the Broners and these other folks like you mentioned. They make the sport thuggish. They actually turn a lot of the casual fans away because they don't want to see that. They don't want to see that.
Real quick, I want to mention that you know that on the undercard there they had one fight that was of interest where, you know, we all got the chance to watch it, and that's when you had what's his name?
King Kong.
King Kong Ortiz against that Razvan Kajanu.
Yes.
And it didn't take long for that to go.
No.
Where he went. Luis Ortiz at 39 years old still causes some problems for people.
He's talented.
He is. He still causes problems, and you can't come in there unprepared. That punch that he dropped the big boy with, man, was a thing of beauty. That combination, thing of beauty. And when they show it in slow motion, you get to see just how he was looking for it, and he executed the whole thing and dropped him and set him down. And
you know, it's just too bad that he's come into the limelight at his old age.
Yep.
Because King Kong is very talented. He's very talented. He's knowledgeable. He's got good ring generalship. Boy, if he would have just come into the limelight when he was even 31, 32, 10 seconds, 31, 32, he would have definitely been a
more of a force. And the bottom line is that he stopped Cajanu there in in the third round. I'm sorry, he stopped him in the third round. Now listen, we're gonna be back in a few minutes, and we're gonna talk about the other fight cards that they're on. We had the big one at the O2 Arena in London, England, and also we had an ESPN fight card where that was of some interest. Not anything great, but it was still a fight.
Well,
It was good fights. It
Come
was
back
good
and see
fights.
us because I got my take on Joseph Parker. Okay, Joseph Parker Jr. You just come back and see us on the next segment. Okay.
All right, and the way we end every segment is Inside Boxing Throwdown. Keep them hands up, baby.